Welcome back to another episode of Top Shelf here on the Filmaholic channel. We have this every week where we give you a new top 10 list or maybe just a ranking. But this week we were doing our top 10 films of the 1990s. Last week we did our top 10 movie characters of the 1990s, so go check that out. To start things off like we always do, we do a 5 honorable mentions before we actually go into our top 10 list. So we're going to do that to begin with here. And Ethan, I'm gonna let you go first and give me your honorable mentions of favorite 90s films.
All right. So 15, start with Jurassic Park is my number 15, which I'm sure is in your top 10.
Seems pretty low, man. Seems pretty low.
I do love this movie, but it just kept going down when I was making the list of what movies I like better. But like I say, I know this is definitely in your top 10 overall.
Yeah, it is. I will say too, like before we go too deep in this list, I feel like you like cheesy movies work more for you than they do for me.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But and I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong when we go through your list here, but I just feel like
very condescending.
Cheesy movies it only works for me with certain actors, which I know Arnold's one of those, and it does work with him if the story's good. Like when we get in the 80s, we're definitely going to disagree on stuff because
I will smack you through this.
Commando sucks, dude.
You suck. I only have one cheesy movie in this top 15. To be fair.
Okay.
That you would consider cheesy. If you consider any of the others cheesy, I don't trust you. Number 14, I have Aladdin, which I don't trust your opinions. You tell me Jim Carrey could do the voice of the genie.
I almost watched Aladdin today, and I decided to watch Dr. Dolittle instead.
To be fair, you didn't actually watch Dr. Dolittle. You just had a background noise.
I watched it.
You said you were doing other stuff.
I was doing other stuff while I was watching it, but I was watching it.
Yeah, I love Aladdin. It's one that's crept up over the years on my list. Very, very great movie. Number 13, I got Before Sunrise. First movie in the trilogy. Richard Linklater used to be my favorite director. But then I watched all his movies. Not anymore. Number 12, movie from my childhood. Actually, 12 and 11, both are. But number 12 is The Crow.
Okay.
It's so good. You had to be there.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think you've watched this recently. I think if you watched it, it'd be like a 4-star for you. Probably based on what I would imagine.
I don't know, maybe. I think it's the overall feel. The story is good. It's just like
I would love them to remake this, but it just seems like it's never going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
But please put Tom Hiddleston in the lead role if you do.
I feel like the only way it's going to happen is if it goes to a different studio. I don't know who owns it now, but it's just not working out.
Yeah, it's been like 3 different teams.
I think Bradley Cooper was attached one time, and that would have been awesome.
At the time, I didn't like it because I don't think I'd seen enough of him as like a good actor. I'd be fine with it now. But still, Tom Hiddleston's my first choice, unless I rewatch it.
You'll get Jason Momoa, and you'll like it.
I didn't mind that at the time. Like if you're not going, like if you're going for a different kind of vibe, but if you're going for like a serious role, nah, I don't want Jason Momoa. If you're going for like other kind of factors, like okay, I can see it. But as far as like somebody like this, I think Brandon Lee did give a great performance. And if you're going for somebody like that, you're not going to get it with Jason Momoa, unless you get a director who just pulls it out of him.
Yeah, we'll see.
I don't think so. And then my number 11, another childhood favorite, is A Perfect World. Movie I will get you to watch one day.
One day.
And then you'll be like, yeah, I got it. I understand.
I'll give it 3 stars.
No, you'll give it 4. Just like The Crow. I think it'd be a 4-star for you. Clint Eastwood directed in the 90s. You got Kevin Costner. back in his prime. Yeah, but that's my 5 honorable mentions.
All right. I'm going to my five honorable mentions, and my number 15 to kick things off. Like, so my 10 through my 15 was honestly like really hard, and I had to really think about those today, because the other ones, 1 through 9 was locks. They were easy, but the other ones, I had to really think about which ones I liked better, because all of these films, actually my 9 through my 15 are all 4.5s for me. Just excellent. And then my 1 through 8 are all 5 stars for me. But my 15,
mine are 5 stars.
Yeah, you have way more movies at 5 stars, in terms of, I guess, in terms of the 90s, anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, I finally got down to 15, and I had like 2 or 3 films that I was looking at that could take this spot, but I ultimately put the film that I watched more recently, but also the movie that I admired the most, because of what the director did, and I would like to make a movie like that, and that's Dazed and Confused. Is my number 15. Really, I feel like you don't see a lot of movies like this. It just captures the mood. It just captures that moment that they were in. And it was made in the 90s, 1993, but was based in 1976. Just fantastic. And it's one of those movies that I feel like I can just like feel the environment. I can feel like I'm there with the characters. So that was 15 for me. My number 14 is, this might surprise you, Speed is my number 14.
Man.
I rewatched this. I'd seen it obviously as a kid. Rewatched it last year before I went to LA for the first time, and because I was trying to watch a bunch of movies that were based there. Watched this, loved it. Just so fun, action packed. It's a great cast. I mean, you got Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock there. They got good chemistry. You got them on the bus. But then you also have Dennis Hopper in the movie, Jeff Daniels. I loved it. Actually, I don't think it's streaming anywhere right now, but I want to watch it again. But it might be higher if I rewatched it like again. But right now it's my number 14 in my honorable mentions. 13, another movie that I just rewatched recently. I'd seen it as a kid, but never really like watched it a lot. I just remember bits and kind of like the premise of the movie, and I rewatched it. It's really, really good. Great concept, good cast, and that's Pleasantville. Came in at number 13 for me. So I think you've never heard of it.
I hadn't.
Oh,
when you watching this, I don't know what this is.
I caught it on like a TBS or something as a kid, and I was just like fascinated because like the black and white, and then color started appearing. And I was like, well, what is this? And I remember seeing Tobey Maguire and be like, oh, Spider-Man's in this. But Tobey Maguire, Reese Witherspoon, Jeff Daniels is in this. William H. Macy, Paul, Fast and the Furious. Why am I blanking on his name? Paul Walker is in this. Yeah, so it's really good, and it's got a lot of cool themes in there too that they really touch upon. My number 12 is another one another one that I know is in your top 10, and that's Terminator 2: Judgment Day is my number 12. This movie, nearly perfect, would be a 5-star if it wasn't for the actor who plays John Connor.
Edward Furlong.
Yes, not a fan of his performance in the film at all. Definitely it brought it down.
Bad.
I just get annoyed every time I watch it. It brings it down a 0.5-star for me. So it would be higher if it wasn't for him, but it's number 12 for me. And then finally, my number 11, closing out my honorable mention, is Scream 2. Big fan of the Scream franchise. Scream 2 is an excellent sequel, I think. Captures the same spirit as the first one. Quality still stays the same. And like the first one did, and the second one and the fourth one, they touch, they poke at what they're trying to do. And this being a sequel, that's what the movie is, with the people two being people copying, or at least one of the killers copying the first one, being a sequel, all of that. So I think they did a really great job with that one, and that's my number 11.
Yeah, that'll never be in my top 15. My number 10, kick off my real list. I've got Magnolia.
Yeah. Yeah, did not make it on my list.
How dare you?
It is a 4.5 though, so it is an excellent film.
It is a 5-star.
It's too long, dude. Even the director thinks it's too long.
And I don't care what he thinks. He's wrong. He doesn't.
He's like, I would cut stuff out.
You're insane. Like, it does not feel like a 3-hour movie to me. Just sit there and watch it over and over and over. Love the cast. Melora Walters is underrated in this movie. I don't know why. Nobody talks about her. Everybody talks about Tom Cruise. I just feel like that's the easy choice to talk about in the movie.
That's the biggest name.
Not that he's a bad performance, because it was good too. But Melora Walters definitely gave the best performance of the movie. Apparently,
Philip Seymour Hoffman's my favorite in that film.
I did like Philip Seymour Hoffman, but I also like John C. Reilly a lot. But yeah, this movie, looking at my list, I don't imagine it'll ever go higher, just because of what I have above this. But I think it'll stay at 10. But that is Paul Thomas Anderson's second best movie.
We need to talk. We'll do a ranking at some point too of his films. I want to do that because
I gotta watch.
He's one of those directors that, like, I've seen all of his movies now, and I'm gonna go back and rewatch some of the ones I haven't seen in a while. But all of his movies I like. So
yeah, I've got. I think when I finish my A24, I was gonna watch the MCU, but I think I might wait and go ahead and start on my directors. And I think he's the third one I've got to do. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how I feel, because I haven't seen Hard 8 or Inherent Vice.
Oh, never mind. We'll take back what I just said, because I have not seen Inherent Vice all the way through. Forgot that was his movie again. Yeah, that's going to be tough. I've tried watching it twice and couldn't make it through, so I'll try again.
And I've only seen The Master that one time in theaters. So
me too, but I remember liking it. So
yeah.
And I just watched Hard 8, and it's really good. I think you'll like it.
Keeps hitting on Amazon. I'm just like, I'll get there. You just wait.
My number 10 is Fargo, another movie I rewatched recently. This is a 4.5, like I said, for me. Excellent film, but it's close to a 5. Both my 10 and my 9 are close to a 5, and they could one day get there. This is only the second time I've seen Fargo, and it was close. So I feel like once I have that third, fourth viewing, it could get up there to a 5, but I don't know yet. Love Frances McDormand in it. Love all the accents. Just they're totally committed to it too, and it's great. And I love the story. It's not too complex. It's pretty simple. Yeah. And you put it in this location, and just the screenplay, the Coen brothers, with these two, I mean, they're great screenwriters. Especially, with a few of their films, but back here, right back to back with with Fargo and Big Lebowski, right back to back, they did a great job. And I love Steve Buscemi in this and his performance. I love William H. Macy and his performance. Really good. So that's my number 10.
All right. Well, the Fargo brothers are my number 9.
I cannot believe this is so low for you.
With the Big Lebowski.
And the Big Lebowski is my number 1 favorite film of the 90s.
Knock it out early. Yeah.
I can't believe it's so low for you.
I'm putting it on here, but it's like, this is a hard list to, like, I'm looking, I'm like, this is, I want to put it higher, but I'm like, no, I like these other movies more. So.
The Big Lebowski is my 3rd favorite film of all time.
Yeah. So, that's not going to happen for me.
Yeah.
It's not getting there, man.
I love everything about this movie. The dude is, my favorite character of the 90s, but if we're going to do a list at some point of just like favorite characters of all time down the line, and he's going to be up there near the top for that too. I love the dude. Love Jeff Bridges in this movie. I love John Goodman in this movie. Julianne Moore, Steve Buscemi. Just everybody does such a great job. Sam Elliott.
I just love the character introductions too.
Yeah.
Like John Turturro, you don't know anything about him, and then you have like a Spanish version of Hotel California playing, he just learned later the dude hates the Eagles, so it's just like perfect comparison. It's like, oh man, this guy.
This is one of my. I don't know. Maybe we'll do this list too at some point, but it's probably in my top three. Well, it's my third favorite film, but it says probably definitely my top three favorite screenplays of all time. If I'm just looking at like the story and the dialogue and like the building of the characters, I love it.
I can't say.
But yeah, just because you got some dramatic, serious moments in this movie too. You know, Donnie dies, like all that, and but it's full of comedy too. But then you also have the crime element in there. But it's never like
dark comedy though.
It's dark, yeah. It's dark comedy and it's realistic comedy.
So, I mean, everybody laughs at like Walter, but he's got PTSD. So.
Exactly.
Yeah, his lines are funny, but it's like, man, this guy's struggling, and nobody cared. Well, they still don't care, but especially not in the '90s, nobody was caring about Walter's type characters. But yeah, I'm glad we could bust out your number one real early.
Well, okay, I'll go ahead and say my number 9. My number 9 is Toy Story 2. And it's the last film I have on my list. It's a 4.5. I used to think that, well, I mean, I always knew that Toy Story 2 was really good, but that was one of the Toy Stories, you know, the first one I watched so many times throughout my life when I got older. And then the third one came out 2010, and then I got it on Blu-ray, so like I watched it too quite a bit. The second one I didn't own until you got it for me for the Christmas this past year.
You just hate Jesse.
So I mean, I had it on VHS as a kid, but you know, I haven't had a VCR in years. So
I'll get to it.
It was been a while, but like before Toy Story 4 came out, I rewatched 1 through 3 and was just really blown away by how good Toy Story 2 actually was. The screenplay in it, the further of the story and the characters, and the introduction of the new characters.
It was crazy to think it was going to be like a straight to DVD kind of movie.
That's crazy. And I wonder too, like, was that when they had the idea to have this be a straight to DVD movie, was that before the movie was actually made? So like they weren't going to have those cast members come back? Or was it while the movie was being made?
Like, yeah, straight to DVD. You're crazy.
Yeah. Glad that didn't happen.
Yeah, I would have wrecked your. It's terrible. My number 8, you can keep on the Toy Story because that's my number 8 is Toy Story 1.
All right, guys, that is my number 4.
One of my childhood.
Man, favorites. How are these movies so far down on your list?
Yeah, that's what I say. Like, this is a hard list to make because I guarantee my next one's going to be on your list too. So I mean, keep talking. But that's what I'm looking like. It's just not going higher. As far as like the movies that I like more, like I'm not saying that Toy Story is better than some of my other ones because it is a better movie, but it doesn't mean I don't like it more. If we're ranking a list of the best movies,
these are just personal favorites.
Yeah, some of these movies.
That's what I like doing lists because
the Crow's not making it on the best movies of the '90s.
I'm not a huge fan of the best thing, only because everything is subjective, and
yeah, I disagree.
There's more subjective though.
Yeah, there's an objective, I think, but
we could argue about that on The Rock sometime. But like that's like a thing where it's like
I have my notes on that too.
You know,
some of them are hard,
but it always has to be subjective. It always is. It's always a personal opinion of what's best. Even I understand like separating favorites and best. Like if I was looking at like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of an example. Spider-Man, for an example, the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy. You know, if I'm looking at like my favorite, it's the first one. If I'm looking at what is the best, it's the second one. But you know, you can make arguments either way. I don't know. That's not a really good example. I'm trying to think of other ones. I don't know. We'll get into it at some other point. But I still feel like, even when you're looking at Best Picture or Best Director, I know you think Parasite should have won Best Picture this year.
As a movie, yeah.
You think it was the best movie made?
For right now, yeah. I mean, if I rewatch all of them in 5 years, it could change. Like based on
because not only do I think, Once Upon a Time's my favorite, so that subjectively, but I do think it's the best too.
I think your favorites bleed in a lot sometimes.
Maybe, but also if I took Once Upon a Time out of their equation, I would say JoJo's a better movie.
No.
Than Parasite.
That's totally.
I think that it is.
But that's also higher on your list of favorites too.
But that's what I'm saying. Like everything is going to be subjective like that, and even people who voted the Oscars,
they didn't watch it.
Well, I'm just saying in general. that plays into it is what you resonate more with.
But see, that's the problem too. Is like they vote on their favorites. Because I remember you talking about JoJo before, and you're like, "Oh, because I don't like that. Like when you talk about like what movies should based on the themes and stuff, I don't like that."
See, I think it should play into it. I don't think that should be the only reason.
I think it should purely be what is the best movie.
But I don't know. I don't see how you can't get past that being subjective though, of what someone would consider being best.
It was Parasite.
Unless you're looking at just technical aspects, because you don't like Dunkirk, right?
I don't like it, but it's a technically good movie,
right? And I can like 1917, you don't like 1917, but that's a technical.
1917 is overrated.
But I would say that it's a technically good movie.
I think it's a decent movie.
No, we're gonna have to talk about this on The Rock sometime.
Yeah.
But anyways, your number 8 is Toy Story.
Cinematography is definitely overrated for 1917. I'll say that, and I'll bring that back up later. I think Deacon's definitely. I respect what he was doing, but you're kind of cheating as far as cinematography when you're just like zooming in on an object just because you don't want to find a cut.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah.
He was my second choice. He's actually, that would be my second choice. But I love what Richardson did with Once Upon a Time. So just people don't understand the greatness of this film.
Imagine that.
Anyways, Toy Story, my number 4, best animated film of all time, and there's no discussion there. I don't know what movie you think is better that's animated, but
I'm like racking my brain. I don't know if I would say that without thinking.
Well, hands down, say it. It is the best animated film of all time, the best Pixar movie of all time.
It is the best Pixar movie. That's
an incredible. It was nominated for best original screenplay for 1995. It should have.
Sure, if they would have more categories.
I don't know what won original screenplay that year. If it was another movie that I will talk about here, I doubt it. But the Oscars don't seem to ever get things right. But yeah, incredible screenplay, awesome characters, heartfelt story that has themes and stuff that you can relate to. Like, I don't have siblings, but I think that's part of what the story was telling, of a child getting a new sibling. Maybe also like friends and stuff too, but I think definitely the sibling aspect was a big part of what they were going for here with Toy Story.
I just love all the jokes that I can get now. You used to entertain as a kid. So funny.
So go ahead and I'll say
your number 8.
I'll say my number 8, I guess. My number 8 is another one that is not going to be on your list. And I did rewatch it recently to make sure that I still wanted to keep it at number 5, and it stayed there. That's The Truman Show.
That's your number 8? That
is my number 8. Is The Truman Show.
To be fair, I've only seen it like once.
And I definitely think you should rewatch it. It's on Stars if you get the free trial. Jim Carrey's in this. It's one of Jim Carrey's best films. That and probably Eternal Sunshine is his 2 best movies. But For me, I mean, his performance wise, you could argue. I mean, his performance was really good for on Man on the Moon, but I just didn't really love that film. This movie, though, the concept, he was raised as a kid in this world, and it turns out his whole world that he lives in, this whole town, is is a set essentially, and his whole life is being filmed and broadcast. The Truman Show. It's like a reality show to the world, but he doesn't know it. And it's him coming to terms and finding out throughout the film that he is in the show, and him trying to escape. And it's just, I love it. I love his performance in it, because he does bring that Jim Carrey comedy to it, but not what we're used to normally seeing with him being extremely goofy. He tones it down for this one and brings seriousness into it. But I think he was a perfect choice for that. And then you also had Ed Harris in there as well, as the guy who created the show, and the godlike figure of the show, I guess you would say.
I do need to revisit it sometime. Maybe Netflix will pick it up.
It was on Netflix at one point. That's when I watched it the first time.
That might have been when I watched it.
You're number 7.
Number 7 is 7.
God, man. Yeah, number 7 is my number 5.
Oh, yeah. Such a good David Fincher movie.
His best movie. Unless I rewatch Alien 3 and I'm blown away.
That's probably it. He's on my director list too. So there's a few of those I haven't seen of his movies.
I've now officially seen all of his films.
Of his movies, though.
Yes. To me, I mean, it's 5 stars for me. It's perfect.
Yeah, blown away. Perfect casting. Like, I love all the characters, but then you got each of them just play their role perfectly. Even Gwyneth Paltrow, like, just a smaller role, really, but just nails it. And then I know
It's crazy that this came out before Hard 8, because I just thought about that, because Hard 8 came out in 96. She's young in both, but she definitely looks younger in Hard 8, I feel like. But she does a really good job. Morgan Freeman does a great job. Obviously, Kevin Spacey is only in it a little bit, but he plays, obviously, he's the villain of the film, and he is great in it. Despite the things he's done, he is a great actor. Most of his performances. But yeah, Brad Pitt. Favorite actor.
That's your favorite actor? Oh, man.
I think so.
Ryan Gosling's going to be jealous.
He's my number 2.
Man, savage. Yeah, perfect screenplay. Love the twist. Just don't see it coming at all. Like, because by the time you get to the point of what's happening, you've already forgot that there's 7 deadly sins. Not focused on that at all. So, just perfect.
Yeah, it's that ending.
Excuse me. Yeah, that was my number 7. So, what you got?
Well, let's see here. I have 4 more movies to talk about. How many more movies do you have to talk about?
I have 6.
Okay, let's go ahead and knock some of yours out.
Well, my next 2, they're not on your list.
Okay. Well, what is your...
One's your honorable mention, which was number 6 is T2.
Okay.
Second favorite Arnold movie. This is a masterpiece. One of it's between this and Mad Max Fury Road for the best action movie of all time. Not a question. I think Mad Max is superior, only because only because like it transcends other genres besides action with it. But T2, fantastic. James Cameron's best movie. Yeah, dude, I don't know what your Get out of here. You're garbage. That's not even on my list. I forgot. That'll be on yours later.
Yep.
I'll just add it right now. Let's take it. His best movie. I'm not hearing that.
It's the second best film.
Get out of here.
It's the second best film. It would be a perfect movie if they recast John Connor. Could get a better person in there. Should have got Leo or somebody in here.
I don't have a problem with his performance. It's nothing where I'm like, oh, that's Oscar worthy, but I didn't find it to be as annoying as Nick Stahl from T3.
It felt the same to me. Like honestly, like it seems like a grown up John Connor of that version. But that's part of my problem too. Is John Connor is supposed to be like Christian Bale in Salvation. That's what I imagine John Connor being.
Yeah, but that's 20 years later, man.
Yeah.
So he would have grown up by then.
But I don't look at that John Connor in the second one and be like, yeah, I think he's gonna be the leader of the resistance. I think it's gonna happen.
Well, that's because like now that you rewatched it, like you've seen Christian Bale give that performance, and it's like I don't know, those don't really tie in together. So as well.
Salvation.
But it's not like the same kind of feel at all.
No. But I would say that those first four movies can go together.
Storyline, but I mean, as far as feel.
Yeah.
Because so he's not, he is in Terminator, but not, the same kind of character. You just get him for a little while. And then at T2, you get him the first time as a, young teenager, rebellious. And then by the time you get to Rise of the Machines, they should have worked on his character by then. Because that was my big problem with T3 is that his character just hasn't grown up at all.
No, he feels like the same, just an older version of the same character we saw in the second one.
That he should have been developed more by that point because you should have been able to get over all your issues by then. You're not just a rebellious teenager with foster parents, whatever.
Well, you would think that Sarah Connor would have made him stronger but after the second one. And
that's the problem with that. It's like he's just still weak and just.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he was a junkie.
He got hurt. He had a motorcycle crash. That's why he broke into that vet and was still in the pain medication.
But yeah, I don't have a problem with his performance. Arnold, his best performance of his entire career. The way his character. Yeah, I don't know what you're looking at me like that for. Get out of here. His best performance of his career. I don't. Easily, just the progression of that character, the emotion and humanity he brings to it. Like you still get the quippy one-liners, but not in kind of the joking way. It's just real stoic. Just perfection. And that moves me to my number 5 because that's my second favorite Arnold movie, but it's close.
Okay, well hold your number 5. I'm gonna go ahead and say my 7 real quick, and then I'll jump to your 5. My number 7 is one that you had in your honorable mentions, and that's Jurassic Park.
Yeah. Where it belongs.
Just an ultimate crowd pleaser of a film, but also good. It's not one of those crowd pleasers you go to, and it's actually just as bad like a Fast and the Furious type movie. This is a great movie, adapted from a book, but definitely changed so much stuff to make it more of a blockbuster, which it was. Became the biggest moneymaker at the time that it came out in '93. One of Spielberg's best films. It's my second favorite Spielberg movie. I really like the characters too. Really good cast. Really good feel. And it's a very nostalgic '90s movie for me.
Yeah.
Like it definitely has a '90s feel too. I like that. But you're number 5.
You could go. Okay. Number 5, favorite Arnold movie, Last Action Hero. Underrated. I don't even. People they don't know what they're missing from this. And if you've seen it, you don't like it, you don't know what you were watching. You clearly didn't understand it. Just such an original idea. And Arnold back in the day was the only character who could bring this to life. You can remake it today if you want, but just don't disrespect my childhood. Yeah, I don't. They're just incredible.
Yeah, I think you could remake it today with probably The Rock.
Rock would be the only person you could remake it with.
But I think they're slipping there. I don't think they don't have much more time to make it with the whole movie angle. I think if you still want to keep it cinema-like and you don't want to change it to a streaming angle, which I don't really feel like works that much to me with this movie. But I don't know. Like, I mean, would he? I don't know the blockbuster angle, so maybe it would still work. But yeah,
he would be the only choice to remake it today. But
if they did, I wouldn't want to see a remake exactly. Anyways, I would like if they made a Last Action Hero today, I would like it to be like with Jumanji. So it like you keep the title, but the first one still existed, and you just have The Rock as the new main character. He doesn't have the same name. And his Jax is actually in this movie, like actually have him in the movie as a supporting character, is what I would do.
How would that work though?
What do you mean?
How would you have it as a sequel though?
I haven't seen this movie in a while, which I do have it at 4 stars.
How dare you disrespect?
I don't know how the movie ends. Does he die?
Jack Slater? No.
Yeah.
He goes back into the movies.
Well, that's what I figured. So you would just have this movie, The Last Action Hero, The Rock, a new kid, and something happens. I don't know. Like the kid, maybe the kid goes into the movie. Is that what happens in this one?
What happens in the first one, yeah.
Okay, so do that again and have the kid go in there, and The Rock's the main character, new storyline and everything, and then have Jack be like the mentor to The Rock's character.
I don't know why he would be a mentor.
You just wouldn't rather not have him in the movie, Arnold?
I just don't know how that would translate. I'd have to hear a longer discussion on this.
That's what I would do.
But
be an older cop.
So underrated.
Yeah, it's good. I'll rewatch it sometime when it goes on a streaming service that I can get.
It's not gonna happen.
So I have 3 more. How many do you have?
4.
4. Go ahead and say your next one.
My number 4 is Pulp.
No.
Careful what you ask for.
My number 6. My number 6 is Titanic, James Cameron's best film. It's his masterpiece. He has never made a movie since then or before then that was better. It's kind of surprising to me that he made this movie. Because really, I mean, it is a romance. He's made these action films and stuff before this, and he makes this movie, which overall is a romance. And he does a great job, but it's more than what you would think of a typical romance because he puts it in a real setting of something that actually happened, obviously with the title. Makes just an epic out of it. This 3-hour-long movie, just event that happened. And I honestly, like in the past, and this will tie into the next video that we're going to be doing, which is On the Rocks. So favorite childhood movies, because Titanic's in there for me too. Because I was obsessed with this movie as a kid. Not that I was allowed to watch it all the time because of certain scenes in the movie that my mom didn't want me to watch. But we had it on
3 hours.
had it on Yeah, she didn't want that on the TV for 3 hours either. But we had it on VHS, and I just why is it 2 of them? I was just like, it's so crazy. So I just wanted to keep watching them, especially the second one, after they hit the iceberg and like shit starts happening. But yeah, really, really love this. The score is phenomenal. Just this epic feel to it. Just every shot is epic in this movie. You got Leo in there, 3rd favorite actor. Gives a great performance. Kate Winslet is fantastic in this. I think she gives actually the best performance in the movie. But you also got other actors in there too that are really good, like Kathy Bates is in this movie. And always Billy Zane, he's good in this movie. He's good for what he was supposed to do. He plays the character well. I think they missed out with him playing a 90s Lex Luthor. Didn't happen, but could have happened, and he would have been great.
Superman. Tim Burton.
Yeah, exactly. Where's it at, man? De-age him.
It's in the vault.
But yeah, I always forget Kathy Bates is in this until she shows up, and I'm like, oh. I used to think they should have cut the opening and ending out and just had everything be in the past, but I'm actually against that now. I actually do like the stuff with the older lady.
I just think, from what I remember, there's just too much of it. Because it takes a while to actually get to the Titanic part.
It works for me. And I can still see where, like, because when the movie starts off, it's Bill Paxton's character and him out in the ocean with his team looking for stuff. And then she comes in after that, and then she starts telling the story to him. So, I mean, you could have cut more to her just coming onto the ship and start telling the story. But if you did that, you would have cut down on, like, the importance of the necklace that she has, which you see her throw that into the ocean at the end of the film. So to me, it all works because it just adds to the emotion and to that scene where she throws it at the end, back into the ocean. So yeah, that is my number 6. And now to jump to my number 3, which is your number 4.
Yes.
And that is Pulp Fiction.
I will go ahead and tell you, just so you don't stress out, my other 3 aren't on your list.
I didn't imagine. I only have one more movie after this, and I know it's not on your list. So.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, you're good. Pulp Fiction came out the day I was born, so that's a little piece of trivia. Coolest thing about me, I guess. And Shawshank.
Now, did you used to say that in school? You should have said that in school when people say.
I didn't know until I was older. I would have. They'd be like, "Oh, what's Pulp Fiction?" And the teacher would be like, "Oh, nice, A for you." But yeah, Shawshank 2 and Wes Craven's New Nightmare. But those 2 are not on my list. Just Pulp. But yeah, solid day to be born. Opposed to, I guess, any other day in history for cinema. Yeah, Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, you got me there. Nothing came out. Nothing good anyways. I tried looking it up, and it was just like, I don't even know what this is.
The day you were born? Was it a Friday?
I don't think I was born on a Friday. I'd have to look it up.
Why I think came out.
But I was like just looking at that week too, and it just was not not good.
I've got 2 of the movies people consider the best movies of the 90s on the day I was born.
I was born on a Monday. So
yeah, worst day of the week.
Yeah.
Can't imagine it made your mom's day any better. It's like, I got to give birth today. Yeah. But yeah, Pulp Fiction, incredible.
Great screenplay. Another, if we make a list of favorite screenplays, it's going to be in there.
Yeah. It's original idea. Definitely changed cinema with this movie. Insane to think this is somebody's second feature film.
Yeah.
When you've got other great second feature films like Us from Jordan Peele. Sophomore slump definitely didn't mess with Tarantino at all.
No, definitely not. And it's, to me, Reservoir Dogs is a good film. But this is just so much. I used to like Reservoir Dogs more too. And if I was in the 90s and watched that movie, I would probably be more impressed than I am now. And also watching all of his other movies too, and be like, so, because like honestly, I rewatched True Romance again recently, which you need to watch. It's on IMDb. So
Natural Killers is on Hulu, I think. So
you can just not watch that because it's trash. But and he didn't write the screenplay for Natural Born Killers, which I thought he did. He wrote the story for that, and then Oliver Stone and some other guys actually wrote the screenplay.
I still gotta watch it.
So yeah, watch it. But it's But True Romance is a movie that you can definitely tell the screenplays is Tarantino's, and I wish he had made True Romance instead of Reservoir Dogs. I wish he had just made Reservoir Dogs as that short film, and maybe somebody else could have directed it. I don't know, but I wouldn't have been upset. Even though it's a good film, I wouldn't be upset if we had never got Reservoir Dogs. I would have been more impressed if he had made True Romance as his debut film.
Didn't he sell the script to True Romance, though, to fund Reservoir Dogs? So?
Yeah, no? I think that's part of it. I think so.
I haven't watched it. I'll get it.
It all happened the way it happened, but
yeah.
It would have been cool because Tony Scott did a good job with it, but I think Tarantino would have done a better job. And I also think one of my slight problems with True Romance, and he's not bad, but I feel like you could have got a better actor in there instead of Christian Slater.
Yeah, he's not a huge fan of him.
Would have brought it up at least a half star, I think, for me if you had a different actor in there.
I need to watch it. Like I say, Tarantino, he's on my watch list too to rewatch, and then I'm gonna include the other movies of his. Like
really
that.
like Patricia Arquette.
I do like Patricia Arquette a lot.
She's really good in that movie. And you have a little small Brad Pitt.
Yeah, you should send it to me.
He's hilarious in it.
Don't condescend to me, man.
I was watching a thing too, and I don't want to get too off into a thing, but I was watching listening to a podcast with Tarantino talking about that and how like that role was like pretty small, and Brad Pitt saw it and wanted to do it, so he came in for a couple days to film it. And it's like Tarantino was like, yeah, he made that character pop. Like you wouldn't care about that character in the movie if it wasn't for Brad Pitt playing it. So
imagine if Tarantino would have directed it, you could have got Brad Pitt in other Tarantino movies.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know who else he would have played moving forward in those other movies, but
I don't know. But yeah, that's my number 4. Incredible.
My number 3. And you have 3 more movies?
My top 3.
All right, you go ahead and give me your next 2.
My number 3 is Braveheart. The next 3 are going to be movies that we talk about on the Rocks, because they're all, I watch them over and over and over in my childhood. Braveheart, same thing. 2 VHS copies. Watched it at my grandparents' over and over. We'll hear no complaints from anybody. So, it's too long. No, not at all. It's an epic, and that's exactly what it should have been. Mel Gibson, fantastic performance. Well directed. I know you don't care for it as much because you don't like period pieces.
Right. So I don't see it ever really getting higher than a 4-star for me, which is what it is. It's really good. I like it, but
you'll give it 5 stars and you'll like it.
No.
I just love the story, cinematography, score is incredible. Going to Scotland just bumps this movie up for me. Feel the movie. I was over there. I took a picture with like some kind of William Wallace in a town there. I was like, oh man, yep, I have to. I was the only one that was interested. I was like, yeah, someone's taking my picture with William Wallace.
Who's that?
I'll tell you.
Had somebody else was like, oh, Dawson's Creek.
I'll kill him. Murder. I was the only person interested. Took my picture with. Incredible film. I could watch this movie just any day of the week. It's I love it so much. Like one of my childhood favorites. I got it over there, and I'll upgrade it when it comes out on the 25th anniversary Steelbook.
I have it on Steelbook.
You've already said you like the one I'm going to get better. You already said you like the Steelbook that I'm going to get better.
I like the back better. I like that sword. But I mean, I think they're both pretty cool.
I can't get enough of this movie. Oh man,
yeah. I can't imagine watching that. Like, is that the type of movie that you would watch like back to back?
I don't know about back to back. I mean, it depends, honestly. Man. Like if I had just watched it today for the first time, it would absolutely be a back-to-back movie. Which is, I don't know, it's rare for those for me. I don't know. It just depends on my mood also, like when I watch it, what kind of emotional state I'm in, like whether I'll watch it again. Like some of those I watched like over and over. I'm like, oh man, probably didn't help with my mental state. I'm sure. I need to shut this off and put on Dumb and Dumber or something.
Just Magnolia over and over.
I didn't watch that back to back. I could, I guess.
You've watched it a lot though.
What did I say? 4 times? Yeah.
I've watched it twice now.
I think that's an incredible pick.
Another one, Wind River, is another movie you watched. You watch a lot.
That's another one. People sleep on that. I'm tired of their trash talking.
It was a hard movie to watch.
A hard movie to watch? What do you mean?
Not one scene in there.
Well, I mean, it's pivotal to the movie, though.
It is, but, you know, I don't know. Which that, I don't want to get on.
Yeah, that's my thing, though. I can't think of any scenes where I'm like, that's hard to watch. Like, I mean, I'm not like, if I'm going to just throw on like random movie scenes, that's not the one I'm going to be like, yeah, let me watch this real quick.
You haven't watched The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo yet, have you?
I know that scene, though. I mean.
What scene are you talking about?
The rape scene or where she gets paid back
yeah.
clips?
And that's one of the problems I have that with the movie. I could go off and talk about that. I have a problem with that, but
we'll talk about that when this video is over because I want to hear that. But Braveheart, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just remember I watched it and that's like a lot of nostalgia factors with some of these movies. Like I watched it with my grandparents, so like they hold up more than a lot. Like I say, I'm sure I would love Braveheart if I just watched it today for the first time, but it's just that feeling sitting in my grandparents' sunroom. Just I watched this movie with them is what brings it up a lot. And then like when I went to Scotland too, so it's just extra factors like actually being in that kind of area where the movie was filmed, take place. I think it's an incredible film. Absolutely deserved Best Picture that year. And then you wanted me to talk about my number 2 since you only got one. Yeah. Number 2, Forrest Gump.
4 star for me.
To be fair, yeah, that's what you get because you like, I don't like this movie. I don't like this movie. Never watched it. You said yeah, exactly. Tom Hanks' best performance of his career. This is another one. Like, I don't. I mean, I'm sure I could watch this back to back, but there's like just scenes in this movie where I could watch over and over, especially like in the third act. Him and his mom, scene with him and Jenny. Love the cinematography, especially
when he finds out the kid's his.
Oh man, that's so emotional. I need to rewatch that movie. Also, that's one of my favorite Blu-rays I have too. Is Forrest Gump. But like cinematography, everybody in that movie played it perfectly. Robin Wright, Gary Sinise, Sally Field, man, just so good. And apparently, I wasn't looking, but I saw it the other day. I always thought she died of AIDS.
Uh-huh.
Apparently, it was hepatitis C, is what they said it was. So, little information there. I always thought it was AIDS because he said it was like a infection. They wasn't sure it was. It affects your immune system.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess that is not really a big part of the movie. But yeah, I don't know. Everything about it. I love the soundtrack. Go through history and during that time, all the songs they use. But I mean, some of my favorite shots from the '90s are in that movie. Like, yeah, especially like the ones that stick out is like when he's talking to Jenny when she's in bed, like all the places that he visited, like all when the sun goes down on the bayou, the river or the lake with the mountains. Oh man, just incredible.
Yeah. He turns around, starts walking back.
Oh man,
I'm tired.
I don't understand people's hatred for that movie. Like people that don't like it and stuff.
My favorite thing is that we have bubblegum seafood.
But it's Bubblegum Shrimp Company, sir. It was sure.
Well, it's good. I've only been there once.
I should have wore that hat. Oh, God.
I should have. Not a true fan.
I guess not. I don't wear it because I don't like the bill. My parents got it on Amazon. It's like a flat. I don't like that. I need to get another one.
I'll probably get something next time I go because I actually have seen the movie now. And
you like it?
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Get out of here.
Definitely like the restaurant too. I have a glass from there because it came with my drink.
From a different one that my parents found at Goodwill, like the one in Monterey. So I got that.
Okay. Yeah. I went to the one in LA, so I got some kind of whiskey drink, and it came with like a pint glass. And it says like Bubba Gump's Shrimp Company, Hollywood.
Oh, nice. Yeah, like I remember. I know they didn't do it for you, but like they were like have that like quiz the table next to you.
Yeah, they didn't do that. Which when I went, I went to, like I said, Los Angeles, and it was the one at Universal CityWalk, and it was later at night, so it was like the last hour they were open, and we sat outside. So
probably.
there was a couple people out there, but there wasn't a whole bunch, so yeah, they didn't do that.
I just roasted the people beside me. they were not ready. Just not at all. You ask me random questions you don't think I'm going to know, like his football jersey number is 44. Like you're not ready. It's not. Yeah. I thought I was going to win something, but I didn't. It's not like a situation like that. Like so, I just wasted my efforts, I guess.
Cajun peel your own shrimp.
I got the gumbo.
Had already ate, so that was my second dinner that night.
It's like a hobbit.
Well, Sarah didn't eat the first time, and I thought that was going to be our dinner. So then she wanted dinner at Universal CityWalk, so she suggested we go there. I mean, obviously I'm going to get food there, seafood, and I haven't been there before. I didn't get one of the like actual like plates, like the they have a bunch of stuff that I want to try that I didn't get. So I just got like the appetizer half portion of the Cajun peel your own shrimp, which is still a lot, but man, it was delicious.
Yeah. What's the closest one's what, Tennessee to us right now?
Yes. The closest, I guess that would be the closest to you too, is
sounds like a road trip, man.
Where's Gatlinburg, maybe?
That's Tennessee.
Yeah, I think that's where it's at. And that one's an hour and so from where I'm at now.
Oh man.
Yeah. Road trip, dude. Come on.
Yeah. Whenever this COVID is over.
I'm like,
because I would go back. I would get a shirt, or I'd probably just get a hat and a glass from there.
Yeah, I'll probably get a shirt next time.
Yeah, that's one I remember. Like, I mean, I know I watched it as a kid, but like, especially when I was in like teens and teenagers, like me and Todd used to watch this movie every time it came on television.
See, that's another thing is like that's one of the movies my dad used to do that with.
Yeah.
And it's always on television, it seems like.
Mom literally just would like, shut it off. I'm tired of hearing it.
That's what my mom did too. And I was just like, oh, this movie must be terrible.
And that's what she's like, oh, it's a good movie, but man, I just get tired of hearing it. You're crazy. It's one of those movies I could watch it anytime, man. I don't know what you're talking about. It always, Forrest Gump's on. I know what I'm watching. I'm watching Forrest Gump, dude. I don't need to scroll through and see what else is on TV. It's going to be Forrest Gump. Yeah. But yeah, that's my number 2. So we got one each, I think.
All right. Yeah, my number 2, the final movie on my list, is one of my top 10 favorite films of all time. I know it's not on your list, but perfect film for me because it's not only it's a horror film, but it's like it's just so much more than that to me. I love the screenplay so much, and that's Scream, 1996. Directed by Wes Craven, written by Kevin Williamson, who also, made Dawson's Creek and you got that same just young adult high schooler, smart, modern for the 90s where it was, writing. Like I said, horror. It's a horror film, but it's also not making fun of, but like pointing out all these other horror movies, you know.
It's definitely making fun of them.
But not, not
all the cliches
in a certain way, and it's bringing all those cliches to this movie and playing with it and playing around with it, and I love that so much. And you got a brilliant cast in here. You got Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox,
Matthew Lillard, man.
Matthew Lillard, David Arquette. Just really good cast, and I love the characters. I mean, if you go back and watch our last video, several of the characters made it in my top 10 of the 1990s, and I think one or two made it in the honorable mentions. I think I had three characters in there.
I think Gail was your honorable mention.
Yes. I don't know. I think Gail and Dewey had both been in honorable mentions, but I'm not sure. But I know Sydney was in my high up in my list of favorite characters of the 90s.
I do think this is the best screenplay for a horror movie.
100%, yeah.
I told you need to watch Slumber Party Massacre, though.
A lot of people have told me that, yeah.
It's got the same kind of vibes. I think it's on Prime now. Or it's on streaming somewhere.
Okay.
Same kind of vibes. Like, it's more like poking fun at the horror genre as far as like the cinematography and the shots. Like, it points out stuff. Like, yeah, you always show like the females, and then have like the phallic objects that you kill them with. So it definitely calls out a lot of stuff like that.
It's on Amazon.
Yeah, I mean, I think you'd like it. Same kind of vibes. Like, it's definitely Scream definitely expanded on the idea. As far as with the screen, they use the screenplay more though. As far as making fun of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do like it's 4.5 for me. I don't know. It's just, nah. I don't really have any complaints as far as why it wouldn't be a 5. It's just didn't have that feel for me.
I don't know. Just something about it. I just love it so much. I love like I said, the screenplay, the writings, and the way the actors deliver that dialogue. I watched it. I'm not going to say it's not going to be in the next video we do. I didn't watch it as like a little kid, but I did watch it when I was younger. Still in elementary school. Probably a lot of people wouldn't let their kid watch that in elementary school, but I did. And I remember watching the first 3 of them with my mom. These are movies I actually rented from the video store. Rented these from Movie Gallery. And I remember her telling me, if they ever make a 4th one, I'll take you to the movies to see it. She did not. I did see the 4th one in theaters, but she did not take me.
Way to hold that promise there.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on Disney World too.
I'm still waiting on my beach trip for my mom, so it's only 3.5 hours away. I don't understand what the problem is.
All right, you got one left, right? You got your number 1.
I have my number 1, 6th favorite movie of all time, Point Break.
God.
I knew you completely forgot.
I know. I was sitting here. I was like, "What is his number 1 going to be?" I have no idea.
It's Point Break, dude. 6th favorite movie. Could probably move up to 5 if I rewatched it. Because I rewatched Princess Bride, which is my number 5 right now. But if I rewatch Point Break, it could probably move up to that. I love everything about this movie. The pseudo machoism you just calling out. Bodie, it's one of my favorite characters of all time. He was on the last list. Johnny Utah was on there. Gary Busey, man, just underrated. And we got to talk about something like when we get done with this video about Gary Busey. He's got a new show coming out or web series, something. Just incredible. Like, screenplay. It's just such an original idea. Just like an easy concept. It's not so like over thought out where you just get lost and bored. You wouldn't have Fast and Furious without this. it's just so incredible characters.
I
Catherine
have
Big-
it 4 stars.
Yeah, you have it too low. I don't.
And I watched it. When was the last time I watched that? It was more recently.
Here we go. I think last
June
Yeah.
25th, 2019.
Well, I think April 26th would be a good day to watch it this year. This is another one like VHS is probably just wore out as a kid, just over and over and over and over.
Yeah, this is one of the ones you got me to watch.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Really got me. You really like Patrick Swayze movies.
I don't. You love Patrick Swayze movies.
I do.
Yeah, this and Roadhouse you would have never watched if I had recommended it. You might watch Point Break now that Keanu Reeves is big, but
yeah, I'm glad I watched it before.
Yeah, I've always been a Keanu Reeves fan. Like the Replacements, not as good. Johnny Utah's the better football player than Shane Falco in his career. But yeah, Bodie, Patrick Swayze is what makes this movie incredible for me. Just a guy willing to do, whatever it takes just to surf, just to do what he wants. And if it's Rob Banks during the summer to finance that, like, hey, that's what we got to do. And I don't know why it's so cool. Just dress up, with president masks. I just loved that as a kid. Like I was, oh man, that's incredible. I don't know why. Yeah, like I just love the ending. It's cut to, Johnny Utah just lets him go, just dies right there in the ocean. If you want the ultimate ride, you gotta be willing to pay the ultimate price.
I know you were a big fan of the remake too.
I saw that Christmas when it came out, and I was drunk. I got drunk.
Okay.
Me and Nick were the only people in there that I guess were not taking this movie seriously, because I don't even know if he'd seen the original. And I was like, yo, you want to go see this? Like, yeah, whatever. We went to the Grand Movie Tavern, and everyone's just staring at us, annoyed, I'm sure, that I'm just laughing at this movie. Because I don't know if you've never heard of the original or you thought this was going to be good. Boy, were you guys mistaken, because it's not. It could be a good movie, like if you had remade it. Like it could have been done really well. Bradley Cooper as Bodie would just blow my mind. Opportunities you missed with this movie.
All right, guys, that's our top 10 films of the 1990s. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel, and we'll have an all-new top shelf for you next Tuesday.